How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
God,
2 days in a row. It's my lucky day.
I know. You and me both. I was thinking the same thing. Isn't it Empire gun owners strive to be the ounce of prevention in the fight for your gun rights? And how do they do it? Well, they do it by fundraising and getting local pro-gun candidates elected. Become a member today. Go to iegunowners.com/join and join the growing number of responsible gun owners stepping up to defend our Second Amendment right. That's iegunowners.com/join.
We got some prizes to give away.
Yes, we do. Who's our winner?
So for subscribe and win winner for today, we have Kim Lorenzo. Kim, you are a lucky winner today. Don't ask me what you won, but just kidding. I don't know what you won, but you're our winner for today. And then we have a chance for our members to win free training from Bill DC. I've gotten that wrong a few times. Bill DC and Joe Dramisi from CCW USA. The winner will be announced on May 7th, and you can register to win at gunownersradio.com/training for members. You also have CCW Next Steps, all your questions about adopting the concealed carry lifestyle. It's $125, or that's $125 value. So here's what you can win. CCW Next Steps, and then you also have the pepper spray and situational awareness class. For those people new to self-defense, this is a great first step in learning how to protect yourself, and that is also $125 value. So great classes. I've heard nothing but good things about that CCW Next Steps. So really teaching you about the concealed, lifestyle, getting into the mindset, some of the stuff that Mike was talking about a little bit. So I think that's a great class. And then so is the pepper spray and situational awareness, because we just did that.
Right. So I think we got Heather Hawk on the line. Heather, are you with us?
I am. How you doing?
We're
Hey,
doing
Heather.
great. So you're going to chat with us about the Irvine City Council meeting on safe storage. How did that go?
Well, it was a long meeting. Let me tell
That's
you
what
that.
I heard.
It was a marathon, and I first and foremost, I want to thank all of our members and members of the public that were both present at the meeting and then also called in via Zoom to basically speak out and against an opposition of this safe storage ordinance they were trying to put in place. The meeting started late at almost 5:30, and then we didn't get to actually speak till 11 o'clock at night. So,
Wow.
Yeah, it was a long one, but it was great. We had a large showing in person as well as on Zoom, basically speaking against this ordinance. And the ordinance that Councilmember Tresitter was trying to propose was everything that the California law already has, but then she was taking an extra step, using an ordinance written by Everytown Moms Demand Action, saying that guns should be locked separate from their ammo in separate containers and disabled all of the time, not when children are present or prohibited persons. So it was extending that. And so then that brought concern about self-defense and being able to access your firearm in the event of someone breaking into your home or needing it again for defense for somebody coming in. So we had, I believe there were 26 people in-house speaking. So it was about half and half of people for and against, and then about 12 or so online, and with about the same half and half. So I don't think they were expecting so much of the opposition as they got, and they ended up tabling it for a later date for discussion. They want to gather more information, do some studies and things to bring back information to determine that. They did all vote to table it, and then Mike Carroll actually called it back at 12:30 at night after most had left to change his vote to a no, that he didn't want to even table it. He didn't want that to proceed at all. So thanks to Mike Carroll for that. We appreciate that a lot.
So what's the call to action here, Heather? So talk to us a little bit more about what's next.
So we just got to keep an eye out to find out what the next steps are with them when they're going to gather some data and everything. I am encouraging people to subscribe to our email. You can do that at ocgunowners.com/subscribe. and we'll keep you posted when things come up. I also have sent out the emails of the council members, and I'm encouraging everyone in Orange County and even the surrounding counties too, and especially in the city of Irvine, to email their city councilman and write in opposition to this ordinance and just tell them that we don't want this to be in place. It's not going to help. They kept saying it was going to help with safety, but it's really not. It's not proactive. It's just repeats of everything and then trying to limit our rights. It's actually unconstitutional. So they would spend time fighting a lawsuit, I think, if they did put this in place. So
let's talk a little bit more about that. So when we say it's not going to better anything, right? So you wouldn't be able to get to your firearm fast enough, right? If someone were to break into your house.
Well, you got to put it back
100%.
together.
You got to put it back together. You've got to unlock it, right? So it just doesn't make any sense to us gun owners. I mean, it might make sense to the anti-gunners, right? But to those of us that actually would want to use our firearm, it seems impossible to be able to protect yourself, right?
Exactly. And they were talking, she was, Councilmember Tresitter was saying that, well, you can get these free cable locks. And when I spoke, I explained, you get those when you purchase a firearm, or you have to prove that you have a safe. When you go to an FFL, before you take the firearm off, you have to get the make and model, and then you get one of those cable locks. But she was just like, oh, you could put a cable lock on it. And that's what I would challenge anyone that says that to do. Take your firearm and put the cable lock on it and try and get it off in the middle of the night.
And how fast can you do that, right? Like when we talk about someone breaking into your house, it's seconds that you would have to protect yourself, right? And those seconds where you're trying to you're trying to take the cable lock off, you're trying to put it together, and kind of like what Mike was just talking about with like that adrenaline and like the way you're feeling and your emotions are heightened, right? Because someone's breaking into your house. Are you really going to be able to do that in the middle of the night when it's dark? Someone's in your house trying to break in, and
these people are making rules and regulations without walking the walk.
And talking the talk.
And talking the talk and find out what happens. See, for some reason, we stop before we get to the end.
So let's do this. Why don't we have the politicians try to do that? Let's give them a dummy gun and try to have them take the cable lock off in the middle of the night and see how well that happens for them. Or take it away from their security details.
But see, they will never do that. That's the whole problem. It's an agenda. Yeah. It's an agenda. We have to fight, just like Ms. Hawk here has to fight. You have to fight. You can't let them get away with it. You got to bring it to their attention and just be the thorn in their side.
We got to tell them when they're doing something wrong.
Right? I mean, don't you kind of agree? You just got to be a thorn in their side as long as they keep this up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You just have to keep educating too. And I mean, there was another council member was asking, he thought all AR-15s were banned in California. And so it's a lack of knowledge and understanding.
Yeah.
The funniest, most ironic point, there was a gentleman at the council that was speaking. He wasn't with any group. He attends those regularly, but he was very upset by the ordinance, and he was threatening to dox their addresses. And so she was really shaken up by it. And I had heard that she had to have security walk her out. And I'm like, so you needed a good guy with a gun to walk you out. But you want to take irony away from us.
And the irony, too, is that all of the CCW addresses, remember, released, what was that, about a year ago? And then all that happened. So she gets scared that someone has their address. And all of ours was out there for the whole world to see.
Exactly.
It's
yep.
sad.
And Mike Carroll also mentioned to one of the other council members. He's on our side, and he was talking about even for people with lower incomes, because the other argument was, oh, you can get one of those fingerprint ones, and she was willing to talk about actually having your firearms loaded in the safe. But then if you're getting one of the fancy fingerprint ones, I mean, you're looking at $300 a safe for the most part, or the ones that are a little cheaper may not be as reliable. And so then that's when she was throwing there's a free cable lock. And I'm like, well, then you're still hindering the safety of the person just because they don't make as much money as someone else, So they didn't think about those programs or even how to enforce it. The captain didn't. He said the only way they could enforce it is if they go into the house and see it physically. So how are you going to enforce something like that?
Just keep being a thorn in their side is all I can say. Because you're doing a really, really, really good job. How do people find out more about you and your programs?
Well, they can go to ocgunowners.com again and explore our website. There's a join button, join and become a member. Or if you want to subscribe to that email again to keep up to date, it's ocgunowners.com/subscribe.
Heather, you're good. That was really a fun segment. So have a great week. And I'm sure we'll be talking to you down the road.
All right. Thank you, guys. Take care.
Thanks for watching this clip from Gun Owners Radio. If you're watching mainstream media, you're not getting the truth about guns. Gun Owners Radio is the easiest way to stay on top of the Second Amendment fight, the fight for your self-defense rights. You can watch our live stream on YouTube every Sunday from 4 to 6 p.m. California time, or if you're in San Diego, AM 1170, FM 96.1, The Answer. We're also available on your favorite podcast platform. Just search Gun Owners Radio and you'll find our show. Like and subscribe to help defend and restore the Second Amendment, not just in California, but across the country.